Hello, welcome to this Facebook Live where I read an original story or an original poem followed by a story from a black or brown or indigenous person. And normally I would have somebody show up on the live and we do a reading, Akashic Records reading for that person. Depending on what they got out of the story, we kind of do a reading on what the Akasha has to say about what they said and any guidance regarding that. Today we'll do a reading for the collective instead, and I'll still read a story or two, and I'll start with some music. Hey Varun. Alright, since today I'm doing a reading for the collective, I'm going to open up my own Akasha, my own Akashic Records. I ask the Akasha and the records and the record keepers and the Lord of the Akasha to open up my records to receive a guidance for the collective, especially since Lionsgate on August 8th is opening up. And I'm actually going to read a time travel story by Alexis Pauline Gooms. And because of that, I want to read this poem on timelines. So the time travel story is about a love letter from the future or her future self that Alexis Pauline Gooms received. And I kind of want to do that, combine it with the dance. So as a preamble, I want you to know that when I say timelines, it's the way you visualize the arrow of time in your mind. Hey, that rhymes. So the arrow of time, the way you imagine the journey from past to future. So comment below if you're on the live how you would imagine the arrow of time. So do you imagine it as a horizontal line going from left to right, or right to left, or back to front, or front to back, or up and down, right? Vertical line. So those are the three main ways many people do, and there are unusual, innovative ways to imagine timelines too, as for example, inside and outside. And even on the horizontal lines, most people would imagine it only from left to right or back to front, at least in the West. Now, some people in China imagine their timeline a little bit differently, where instead of the past behind them and the future in front of them, like the people in the West, they see the past as in front of them and the future behind them. So that means they learn from history because they see the whole past before them that they can learn from. And conversely, they're not getting in their own way. They're not constantly running away from their future. They sit still long enough, sit in stillness and meditation long enough for the future to catch up to them, meaning to receive the guidance for the future and maybe from the future, right? And this is where that love letter story comes in really useful as well. All right. So, when I thought of the past as above me and the future below me, the past at first felt like a burden pushing me down. Then I saw it differently. The past as sunlight and air nourishing me, giving me structure, structure, rooting me into the future, becoming me. Now, what if I reverse this? Then the past as the entire earth beneath me, feeding me water of life. My cultural, family, social, tribal roots underneath me, feeding me water of life, seeding the future, growing. That is me, growing the plant, the tree. That is me, growing palms that feed more and wind from its trunk that expresses its wisdom, also nourishing the entire ecosystem that makes it possible for the sunlight to keep shining and nourishing more palms and other trees and more. An endless cycle of circular, infinite timelines, non-linear, nourishing each other. Not only the past nourishing the future, but perhaps the future nourishing the past. Hey, Kathy. Now, if anybody wants to be on the live, let me know as well. All right. And the dance is also kind of a magical healing dance, so let me know if you also received whatever it is that you received from that dance as well. I feel like even when I was dancing, I was kind of guided as well, that it was some sort of transmission too. Now, the story that I want to read is from this book, Octavia's Brood. Science fiction stories from social justice movements, edited by Adrienne Marie Brown and Walida Imarisha. And Adrienne Marie Brown also wrote the books Emergence and also Pleasure Activism. And the story in this collection is called Evidence. Now, it's kind of a long story for this live, so I might just read kind of the end. Basically, the context is this person is a queer person in some sort of trouble, and they're receiving these love letters from the future and from different timelines. So, Exhibit D. Found on Drixo's wall at 16, rare paper artifact of a printed poem duplicate by Alexis Pauline Goom, circa 21st century. BSB. In my dream, my ancestors are written on the walls. Lipstick leavings, gold pan, graffiti, strips of magazine paper, wheat-pasted faces. These must be the ventricles. Wind blows through, shifting and caressing the slapstick lovings, the glitter leftovers, the mimeographed urgency, the necessary flyness. I must be standing inside my own heart, tagged with the evidence of life living itself. I must be walking through the back alley, truth, the criminalized place where love is, where we all end up if we're lucky, or at least move through for a bit. Exhibit E. Letter from Alexis after capitalism to Alexis during capitalism. Retrieved from email residue algorithm. Received in inbox Alexis Pauline at gmail.com on 9/13/10. Send date category echo referenced and archived in Drix's lecture capsule. Dear Lexi, breathe deep, baby girl. We won. Now life, though not exactly easier, is life all the time. Not chopped down into billable minutes, not narrowed into excuses to hurt and forget each other. I'm writing you from the future to remind you to act on your belief, to live your life as a tribute to our victory, and not as a stifling reaction to the past. I'm here with so many people that you love, and their children, and we are eating together, and we are tired from full days of working and loving, but never too tired to remember where we come from. Never exhausted past passion and writing. So I'm writing you now. Here in the future, we have no money. We have only the resources that we in our capitalist phase did not plunder to work with. But we have no scarcity. You can reassure Julia, we have plenty technology. Technology is the brilliance of making something out of anything, of making what we need out of what we had, of aligning our spirits so everyone is on point so much of the time that when one of us falls off, gets scared, or caught up, the harmony of yes, 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 we are priceless, brings them right back into tune with where they need to be. We have the world we deserve, and we acknowledge every day that we make it what it is. Everybody eats. Everybody knows how to grow agriculturally, spiritually, physically, and intellectually. No one owns anything or anybody or even uses anything like a tool. Each everything is an opportunity, and we are artists singing it into being with faith, compassion, confusion, breakthroughs, and support. It's on everyone's mind and heart how to best support the genius that surrounds us, how to shepherd each of us into the brilliance we come from, even though our experience breaking each other apart through capitalism has left much healing to be done. We are more patient than we've ever been. And now our time is divine and connected with everything. We have developed skills for how to recenter ourselves. We walk, we drink tea, we are still when we need to be. No one is impatient with someone else's stillness. No one feels guilty for sitting still. Everybody is always learning how to grow. Your heart sings every day because your ancestors are thrilled with themselves, aka all of us. Just breathing is like a choir. And I have the presence of mind and the generosity of spirit to even be proud of the you that I was when you are reading this. Back in capitalism with all of our fear and all of our scarcity-driven behavior, contradicting and cutting down our visionary words. Counter-poetics, right? I'm proud of you for being queer. I'm proud of you for staying present to the meaning of your beliefs and to the consequences of your actions, even when they were crashing into each other every day. I'm proud of you for letting the tide of your revolutionary heritage grind your future, grind your fear of failure and lack to sand. I love you, the me that I was. But breathe this deep, because this is the message. We did it. We shifted the paradigm. We rewrote the meaning of life with our living. And this is how we did it. We let go. And then we got scared and held on. And then we let go again of everything that would shackle us to sameness. Of our deeply held belief that our lives could be measured or disconnected from anything. We let go. and retaught ourselves to breathe the presence of the energy that we are, that cannot be destroyed but only transformed, and transforming everything. Breathe deep, beloved young and frightened self, and then let go, and you will hold on. So then let go again, with all of the love and the land, with all of the love and the sky and the land and the water. Lex. Hey, how was that for you? If you're watching the replay, comment below about what you got out of that story, or even the first story, the first poem, and how it impacted you. And now I'll do a reading for the collective, what the Akasha has to say for the group consciousness, for everybody right now, for this week, for the next 7 days. And that does include me as well. Your Akasha, what is the message? The group message for the collective. The message for the collective is, as a practice for this week, a daily recommended practice is to move your body to fully feel exactly what you're feeling right now, and to express it even just to yourself, alone in your room maybe, to fully feel the fullness of what is being felt through your body. Allow your whole body to be moved by what you're feeling right now. And when you fully felt that, and movement includes sound, you can even make sounds as part of your movement, so that it's fully felt and fully released. And then move according to how you want to feel. Movement that expresses how you want to feel, that embodies how you want to feel. And then maybe at the end, do a third movement that connects the two, that creates that journey for you. A movement love letter from the future to the past, in a sense, basically. So that you are moving backwards in time from the future back to the present moment. Just like in that poem. And you fully embody that. And then by doing that, you learn how to move from the present to the future. That's a good daily practice for you to do. And just doing it in a very intuitive, contemplative way. Even decolonizing your habitual movements. Even think about how the space or the environment kind of shapes the way you move. If your room is more cluttered, are you hunching down or making your body small when you're moving? Or when you're around people you're not comfortable with, are you making your body and your movement smaller than needed to be? Or maybe it is needed for your survival, but it's just important to be aware, consciously aware of what's happening, rather than letting it unconsciously run you. And then imagine if you decluttered your room and made it more spacious. How would your movements change? How would the way you move, even in your own room or even in your own house, for example? Yeah. The other thing is to be more aware of what you're feeling in your communications with others and how the other person's feeling, and also the what's being felt in the in-between space between you and the other person, what's felt in the air and the space in between, what feelings are being generated in that connection itself. It's important to be consciously aware of that too and where it's coming from. And maybe do some writing journaling or visual art journaling by drawing and doodling to express that, release that, feel that. Yeah. Let me look at the time to see where we're at. Or 10:41. I think it started at 10:14. So we're at that, the 26-minute mark. Let's see if it's time to close the records so we feel complete. What's happening? Yeah, it's complete. Mostly. One more thing before we close the records, today's August 3rd, as we get closer and closer to August 8th, which is a double 8 number. 8 and 8 is the 8th month of the year, and in astrology it's called Lion's Gate. You might feel more and more intense energies, so it's important to move your body to feel it. And also be aware of what you're eating, just to observe how what you eat makes you feel in what way. Just observing the correlation between what you feel immediately after you eat something and the food item that you eat. This is not to diet or restrict yourself, but just to observe and record what's happening, the relationship between food and feelings, food and energy in your body, and to make a diary, a daily diary of that this week. So that's the final message, and it's complete for the collective. Thank you so much. Have a great day.